Thalvians, my name is President Alex, the President of Sanctuaria, Minister of Foreign Affairs, and the Director of the RUD. I am speaking to you from the Illyrian Palace in our capital city, Scadra. Behind me being the flags of the Commonwealths, and in front of me being the Thalvion flag, waving in all its beauty. It was the evening of March 12th, 2025, that the Republic of Rema joined Thalvion as a commonwealth. Rema was a nation that was situated on the furthermost point of Thalvion, furthermost western point of Thalvion. Our plan was always to have a brotherhood with them, just like with all of our other commonwealths. And I would tell you that the situation that occurred during the month that Rema was in the Union was a complicated matter that involved lots of slander and lies from Gris, a horrible leader who rushed his country's referendum to join a union that would leave tensions and a war for months to come. He put both our nations into a situation that will spill more blood than water we have ever drunk. When we aimed to build a brotherhood, he aimed to slander our government and nation. And now we have to aim towards manifesting his lies and manipulation into a pile of ashes that will be swept under the rug of Abex history. With only less than a month of being in the Union, Rema declared independence on April the 6th. And although we wished them best and gave blessings, their hatred never ceased. In the following months, we welcomed Lucretia and Elskigard into the Union with us. The unification of Elskigard into our Union was a big day for us. But it was an event that triggered a broader conflict. June 26th, Rema united with the nation of Enosari to create the Sovereign Union of Talasia, or Talasium, which would later be known as Asteria, with Halge joining them later on. Asteria believed that our expansion with Elskigard was a direct challenge to their nation, which was not the case, especially since Elskigard was a developed and large country who wished to join Thalvion. However, knowing the leadership and consistent theme of Gris and his tyrannic leadership, I believe that he knew the actual reason we allowed Elskigard into the Union. Yet, he said this because Gris, in his pride, needed justification to call for a conquest of Thalvion, specifically the Crusade claim. The leadership of Asteria is a corrupt one, and may the heavens bear witness to the justice that will be served onto Rema, Halge, and Enosari. Another issue I would like to discuss is the loss of Sonomania, which has been labeled as cowardly and impulsive decision by critics. I would like to address that by saying, I understand your concerns, and Sonomania was a claim that I had much love for, which is why I would have never given up Sonomania if the reason wasn't valid. Thracia, which was one of the founding nations of Thalvion, who later dropped out. You can see that by looking at the capital of Scadra, seeing their flag there, along with the UNS flag, Illyria flag, and Spitfire flag. But since then, we had tensions grown, deals that were not upheld, and then there was a situation. But Thracia is a nation owned by Tylix, who was one of the most powerful rulers on Stoneworks. He had a large military capability worth $20 million that would have completely overwhelmed us. Before the war with Asteria would have even begun, the loss of Sonomania would have been inevitable. Hence why this was a necessary decision I made to avoid large military losses. There's a distinction between ambition/courage and dumb, unnecessary decisions. Pride has no place to overshadow strategy, especially in warfare. And now, because of the sacrifice of Saunamania, we are able to defeat Asteria. Furthermore, the elections will be paused indefinitely until the end of this conflict. And for that reason, I suggest candidates and parties abstain from campaigning to solely focus on the upcoming battles. We would like to thank our allies and citizens for the overwhelming amounts of support and contribution to our government and military. I would also like to thank the FMRG administration for the effort that they put into supporting Sanctuaria and the nation, being the greatest, most vocal, and ambitious premier this nation has ever had. And although there were lost opportunities because of the conflict, you can still see Thalvion described in the present tense, standing proud. And now we believe that because of the government's leadership and cooperation, we will no doubt defeat Asteria. And we have never been so confident. As for the war itself, we expect the first battle of Kilvora to begin on October the 5th. Let me repeat that. The first battle of Kilvora, we will be playing the defensive, will begin on October the 5th. We have already prepared large ganks and defenses in the claim with great help from our allies. We encourage all citizens to show up, contribute, and fight in the battles to defend our land. In my time as a politician, I've seen nations divided by many things. I've seen it divided by beliefs, ideology, race, gender, law, and politics. And Thalvion is no stranger to that divide. I gaze upon Sanctuaria and reflect on the times where we were stuck in the forest, blocked by nations rejecting our freedoms, struggles which we overcame and grew. I reflect on Lucretia, suffering from endless fighting, and I'm persevering in the end. I reflect on Roquiria, coming into the world of Bexilis after leading the War of the Comet for Elton, getting persecuted by enemy nations, struggles which they overcame in the end after joining Thalvion. On Illyria, whose king was absent during times of struggles, but then later persevered, helping find Thalvion with Sanctuaria. And now I reflect on Elskegard, the bravest commonwealth of all, who has stuck with Thalvion, even after losing the East Bank and having their claim threatened. And I do not doubt that just like with all of us, they will persevere. So all of us have experienced highs and lows, highs being growth and lows being divided. And now, as a family unified under one banner, I say to you all, let the only thing that will divide us be death, so that one day we can experience being reunited again in a larger glory. God bless you all. Long live Thalvion.